If only the daughters of Eve knew how keenly the sons of Adam observe, not merely with the eyes of flesh, but with the sight of the soul. The gaze of a man is not drawn only to outward beauty, nor is his admiration won merely by the adornment of raiment. Nay, there are subtler things, unseen yet deeply felt, which rest upon his heart long after words have faded. A man, though often silent in his observations, is not blind to the radiance of a woman's smile. He perceives when it is but a courtesy, polite, practiced, and measured to fit the moment. Yet more deeply he recognizes when it springs forth unbidden, a light from within rather than a mere movement of the lips. A true smile is not fashioned by effort, nor does it come at will. It is the natural outpouring of a heart that holds joy, like a brook overflowing its banks in the springtime. This a man notices, though she may not think him observant. For what is a smile if not the mirror of the soul? A rehearsed grin, given out of formality, may deceive the casual observer, but not the man who watches with intent. He sees whether her lips curve, yet her eyes remain untouched by the same warmth. He senses when laughter graces her mouth, but does not reach the depths of her spirit. And oh, how he cherishes that rare and sacred moment when a woman smiles with her entire being, her countenance alight with a joy that cannot be feigned. It is in such a moment that he glimpses the beauty of her heart, not just the fairness of her face, but the richness of the spirit within. A genuine smile carries weight far beyond its fleeting presence. It speaks of a heart unburdened by bitterness, a soul capable of rejoicing despite life's tribulations. The world does not always grant ease, nor does it furnish endless merriment, yet when a woman smiles with authenticity, it is a testament to something deeper, an inner reservoir of gladness that trials cannot easily diminish. A man is drawn not to perfection, but to sincerity, when he beholds a smile that is free, unhindered by pretense or artifice. It captivates him more than the finest adornments ever could. Moreover, a true smile has the power to comfort and heal. A man who is weary from the burdens of life may not seek counsel in words, nor relief in grand gestures, but in the silent kindness of a woman's unguarded joy. A single smile, offered without demand, has the strength to soften the hardest of hearts, to lighten the heaviest of days. It is a gentle reminder that goodness yet remains, that hope is not lost, when a woman smiles, not for show, not for gain, but as an effortless reflection of a spirit at peace. It lingers in the heart of a man long after she is gone. Ah, how little she knows of the impact of that which she considers so small! She does not stand before a mirror to admire it, nor does she mark its effect with calculation. Yet in the quiet spaces where men dwell, in thought, in memory, in the chambers of the heart, it remains. Long after words are forgotten and beauty fades, the impression of a woman's true smile abides, etched in the soul like a sunbeam upon the waters. A man, though often reserved in his words, is not oblivious to the way a woman listens. He discerns whether her ears are truly open, or merely waiting for the next pause to insert her own thoughts. Many may hear, but few truly listen. It is not the nod of agreement, nor the well-placed "I understand," that convinces a man of her sincerity, but the quiet attentiveness that reveals a heart genuinely engaged. In a world where voices clamor to be heard, where conversations often resemble contests rather than communion, a woman who listens with intent is a rare and precious gift. For listening is not a passive act, it is a silent language of the soul. A man notices when her eyes remain fixed upon him, not in vacant politeness, but in true regard, as though she is not merely absorbing words, but understanding the heart behind them. He sees when her expression shifts in response to his joys or sorrows, when her presence alone speaks comfort without the need for many words. Such a woman does not rush to fill every silence, nor does she merely wait for her turn to speak. No, she listens, as one who values the speaker more than the sound. A heart that listens is more precious than lips that charm, for what use is eloquence without understanding? Many can weave words like silk, flattering and beguiling, but words without true comprehension are like an empty vessel, sounding loud yet holding nothing. A woman who truly listens offers more than fleeting beauty or pleasing speech. She provides a refuge, a place where a man feels seen, known, and valued. This more than external graces is what lingers in his soul, for he knows that in her presence he is not just heard, but understood. And how greatly this is tested in times of trial. When a man is burdened, when his spirit is weary from the labors and storms of life, it is not always counsel that he seeks, nor solutions that he desires. Often he simply longs for a listening ear, one that does not judge or seek to fix, but simply allows him to be. A woman who listens with patience, who does not dismiss his struggles, nor diminish his victories, becomes to him a source of quiet strength. He may not always speak of it, but in her he finds a solace that no multitude of words could provide. But listening is more than the absence of speech. It is an act of love, a selfless laying aside of one's own need to be heard for the sake of truly knowing another. A woman who listens with sincerity is not only cherished in the present, but remembered in the years to come. A man may forget the exact words spoken in a moment of distress, but he will never forget how it felt to be truly heard. He will recall not just her silence, but the warmth of her understanding, the assurance that in her presence his thoughts were not merely tolerated but valued. And so unknowingly she weaves herself into the fabric of his soul. While the world praises the woman whose voice captivates a crowd, the wise man treasures the one whose silence speaks of love, whose listening heart is a sanctuary in a world of noise, for it is not always the loudest voice that leaves the deepest impact, but the quiet presence of one who listens with care. A man does not merely admire a woman in times of ease. He observes her most keenly in moments of trial. It is in the face of adversity, in the crucible of difficulty, that her true nature is revealed. When troubles arise, when the unexpected shakes the foundations of comfort, does she meet them with patience, or surrender to panic? The manner in which she carries herself in hardship speaks more profoundly than any words she could utter. For beauty may turn heads, and charm may delight, but a composed spirit, a woman who stands firm amid the storm, is a crown of wisdom that few possess. Grace under pressure is not the absence of fear, nor is it a denial of struggle. It is the quiet resolve of a woman who, though she feels the weight of the trial, does not let it break her. She may be shaken, but she does not shatter. She may stumble, but she does not surrender to despair. A man sees this. He notices when she chooses to take a deep breath rather than lash out, when she steadies herself instead of collapsing into anxiety. In those moments, she is not merely enduring, she is revealing a strength that cannot be feigned. He watches how she reacts when plans unravel, when life throws its unexpected burdens upon her shoulders. Does she allow frustration to consume her? Does she lash out in anger, spreading her unrest to those around her? Or does she meet the moment with a steadiness that reassures rather than unsettles? A woman's true elegance is not found in the finery she wears, but in the way she carries herself when circumstances turn against her. To be calm in peace is simple. To be composed in crisis is a mark of true grace. And how necessary this grace is, not only for herself, but for those around her. A woman who meets trouble with wisdom and measured patience becomes a source of strength to others. When chaos threatens to unsettle the home, when confusion rattles the minds of those in her presence, she has the power to either escalate the storm or to still the waters. A man notices this, how her presence either brings calm or breeds more turmoil. It is not perfection he seeks, nor does he expect her to be unshaken at all times, but he treasures the woman whose first instinct is not to crumble, but to anchor herself in quiet strength. This grace under pressure is not about always having the right answer, or appearing unbothered by life's difficulties. No, true grace is found in the woman who, though burdened, carries herself with dignity. She does not demand attention for her struggles, nor does she expect the world to bow to her emotions. Instead, she gathers herself, steadies her steps, and moves forward, not with the frantic energy of panic, but with the assurance that trials, like passing storms, do not last forever. She understands that hardship does not define her. Rather, it reveals her resilience. And oh, how a man cherishes such a spirit, not because he seeks a woman who suppresses her emotions, but because he admires the one who does not allow circumstances to rule her. He sees that her composure is not coldness but wisdom, not indifference but understanding. When others lose themselves in the whirlwind of fear and frustration, she remains steady, a quiet force of strength that neither boasts nor crumbles. It is this, more than mere beauty, that leaves an impression upon his soul. For in a world where so many seek to be heard, where panic and reaction often dictate responses, a woman who meets life's difficulties with grace stands apart. She is remembered not for the absence of struggle, but for the way she carried herself through it. And long after the moment has passed, after the storm has subsided, a man will recall not just what she endured, but the poise with which she walked through the fire. And that, more than anything, will make her unforgettable. A man may be drawn to outward beauty, but it is the quiet acts of kindness that captivate his soul. While the world clamors for grand gestures and extravagant displays, he notices the unseen mercies, the little things she does, not for applause, but from the goodness of her heart. Whether it is the way she gently assists the elderly, speaks softly to a child, or offers a kind word to the weary, these moments linger in his mind long after they have passed. For kindness, when given freely, is more precious than the finest jewels, and the woman who possesses it carries a radiance that no adornment can match. It is easy to perform kindness when the eyes of many are watching, but what of the kindness that no one acknowledges, when she pauses to hold the door for a stranger, when she gives up her seat without hesitation, when she listens with patience to the concerns of another? These are the things that reveal the true nature of her heart. A man notices not only what she does in public, but also how she carries herself in the unnoticed moments. The kindness that is given without expectation of return is the kindness that speaks of a noble spirit. A man observes how she treats those who can do nothing for her. Does she offer warmth to those the world deems insignificant? Does she show compassion to the tired cashier, the struggling waiter, the lonely passer-by? It is one thing to be gracious when there is something to gain, but another to be kind when there is no reward in sight. He sees whether her kindness extends beyond her circle, whether her heart is open not just to those she loves, but to those who simply cross her path. Such generosity of spirit cannot be faked. It flows naturally from within. There is a softness in a woman who is kind, but do not mistake it for weakness. It takes great strength to remain gentle in a world that is often harsh. A man recognizes this strength in the way she chooses understanding over impatience, in the way she meets rudeness with grace, and in the way she comforts rather than condemns. He knows that a kind woman is not one who has never seen hardship, but one who has, and yet still chooses to be compassionate. This, more than mere beauty, makes her unforgettable. And what of the way she speaks? Words have the power to wound or to heal, to lift up or to tear down. A man listens not only to what she says to him, but also to how she speaks to others. Is her voice gentle when she addresses those in need? Does she offer words of encouragement instead of criticism? Does she extend understanding where others might respond with judgment? A woman who wields her words with kindness possesses a grace that no mere eloquence can replace. A kind woman creates an atmosphere of peace wherever she goes. Her presence brings warmth, her actions inspire trust, and her words offer comfort, even in the smallest of ways. By remembering a name, by offering a smile, by showing patience in frustration, she builds a world where love is felt, not just spoken. A man may not always mention these things aloud, but he notices. He sees how she brightens a room, how her kindness lingers long after she has left. And though she may not realize it, Her kindness does not return void. The world may not always acknowledge it, and she may never receive the recognition she deserves, but the impact of her small acts is immeasurable. A single word of encouragement may give someone the strength to keep going. A moment of patience may turn away anger. A simple smile may remind another that they are seen. These things, though small in the eyes of the world, are great in the eyes of those who receive them. Oh, how a man cherishes a woman whose kindness is unforced, whose mercies are given freely. For beauty may captivate for a moment, and charm may entertain for a season, but kindness, true, sincere kindness, it setches itself upon the soul, and long after time has passed and faces have faded, a man will remember not the clothes she wore, nor the way she looked in the light, but the way she made others feel, the kindness she gave, the love she shared, and the gentleness that set her apart. A man may admire a woman's beauty, he may be enchanted by the melody of her voice, but there is something more subtle, more intimate, that remains with him long after she has gone. Her natural scent, not the heavy perfumes of the market, not the artificial fragrances designed to entice, but the quiet, unforced aroma that belongs uniquely to her. It is not something she chooses, nor is it something she crafts. It simply is, a delicate whisper of her presence that he comes to recognize without effort, without thought. This fragrance is not loud, nor does it demand attention. It is the soft imprint of her nearness, the delicate essence that clings to the air after she has passed. It weaves itself into the fabric of his memory, lodging there like a familiar melody that plays in the quiet hours. It is not just a scent, it is a presence, a signature upon his senses that speaks of warmth, of comfort, of the simple, irreplaceable reality of her. He notices it in the moments least expected. Perhaps it lingers upon a chair where she once sat, or upon the fabric of something she touched in passing. Perhaps it drifts to him as she leans near to speak, stirring something deep within him, a recognition, an awareness that transcends words. It is a silent companion to her presence, an invisible thread that ties her to his perception, reminding him that she is near even before he turns to see her. And how strangely powerful this unseen thing is! Long after time has passed, when distances grow and seasons change, a single hint of that familiar scent, borne upon a breeze, hidden in the folds of memory, can summon her presence with striking clarity. It is not mere nostalgia, it is a deep and abiding impression upon his soul. The fragrance of her presence is not something he recalls by choice, it is something that refuses to be forgotten. This natural scent, this quiet essence, is more intimate than words, and more enduring than fleeting affection. It is the fragrance of familiarity, of belonging. It is what makes his home feel warmer when she is near, what makes an embrace linger in his mind, even after it has ended. He does not think about it consciously, nor does he seek to describe it, yet he knows it well. Knows it as surely as he knows the way her voice sounds when she laughs, or the way her eyes brighten when she speaks of something she loves. And though she may not notice it herself, though she may never give it thought, he does. A woman may carefully choose her perfumes, may spend time selecting the finest fragrances, but it is her own scent, the unmasked, uncontrived aroma of her skin, her hair, her presence, that he cherishes most. It is uniquely hers, belonging to no one else, and therein lies its quiet magic. There is something deeply human, deeply real, about the way scent binds itself to memory. It is one of the few things in life that does not require effort to recall. It returns, unbidden, woven into moments both small and significant. A woman's scent is not merely noticed in the present, it is carried into the future, a lingering reminder of the comfort, the warmth, the essence of who she is. In a world where so much is artificial, where so many things are designed to impress, it is this natural fragrance, a thing untouched by design, that leaves its deepest mark. It is not loud, yet it speaks volumes. It is not intentional, yet it captivates. It is not something she wears. It is something she is. And in this quiet, effortless gift, she leaves an imprint upon his heart more lasting than the most carefully chosen perfume. Perhaps she does not know this. Perhaps she thinks herself unnoticed in this way, believing that it is only her words, her actions, her outward beauty that a man remembers. But he does notice. Oh, how he notices, in moments of closeness, in the spaces between conversation, in the quiet instants when the world stills and presence speaks louder than speech, and long after all else has faded, when time has carried its course and days have turned into years, it is this invisible, unspoken, unforgettable essence that will linger. The scent of her, the fragrance of memory, the quiet imprint of a presence that was never just seen, but felt in the deepest chambers of his soul. A man may be drawn to a woman's voice, to the way she speaks with passion, wit, and intelligence. Yet there is something even more powerful, something he notices not in the clamor of conversation, but in the spaces between words. It is her confidence in silence, the way she does not rush to fill the quiet, the way she stands assured in her own presence, without needing to prove herself with endless speech. This, more than eloquence, speaks of the depth of her soul. Silence, to some, is an uncomfortable void, a thing to be avoided, a gap that must be filled, lest it reveal something unwanted. But the woman who is confident in silence does not fear its presence. She does not feel the need to speak simply for the sake of being heard. She understands that words, when overused, can lose their weight, and that true presence is often best expressed without them. A man notices when she is at ease in these moments, when she allows the hush to settle without nervous laughter, without hurried chatter. There is a rare kind of strength in a woman who does not scramble to justify herself, who does not offer explanations where none are needed. She is not silent because she lacks words, but because she understands that words should be chosen with care. She speaks when she must, and when she does, her voice carries the weight of thoughtfulness. A man values this, not because he does not wish to hear her, but because he treasures the meaning behind her words when they come. And what of the way she listens? A woman who is confident in silence listens not to respond, but to understand. She does not impatiently wait for her turn to speak. She absorbs, she considers, she allows the conversation to unfold without force. A man notices when she grants him this gift, when her presence alone speaks louder than 1,000 words. It tells him that she is not merely waiting to be heard, but that she values what is spoken, and even more so what is left unsaid. Her silence is not a void, it is an atmosphere. It is a space of assurance, of knowing who she is without the need for constant affirmation. She does not fear quiet moments in a room, nor does she rush to fill them with unnecessary speech. She is comfortable in her own presence, and because of this she creates an aura of calm that others gravitate toward. A man, though he may not always articulate it, finds peace in such a woman. She does not demand attention through noise, but commands respect through the depth of her quiet strength. And in times of conflict, how revealing is her silence then! A woman who possesses true confidence does not engage in futile arguments, nor does she allow her emotions to spill over in reckless words. She knows when to speak and when to withhold, when to offer her thoughts and when to let silence carry the weight of her response. A man observes this carefully, for it is in these moments that he sees the measure of her wisdom. It is not the loudest voice that holds the greatest power, but the one that speaks only when it is needed. This quiet strength is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is the mark of a woman who is secure within herself, who does not need external validation to feel seen. She does not clamor for approval, nor does she seek to impress with an excess of words. Her confidence is not built upon being the center of attention, but upon knowing that she is enough, even in stillness. And oh, how a man treasures such a presence! It is a refuge, a sanctuary from the noise of the world. In moments of intimacy her silence speaks volumes. When words are not needed, when the simple act of being together is enough, he recognizes the rare beauty of her soul. It is in these quiet moments, the gentle touch, the lingering glance, the soft presence beside him, that he understands her heart more than any words could express. He does not need her to fill every space with speech, for her presence alone is a language he understands. And what of the times when life grows chaotic, when storms rage and uncertainty looms? A woman who is confident in silence does not give in to the frenzy of the world. She remains steady, composed, not because she is unshaken, but because she knows the power of stillness. She does not let fear dictate her reactions, nor does she allow worry to consume her. A man sees this, and he is drawn to it, for he knows that in her quiet strength there is something unbreakable. Her silence is not a sign of weakness, nor is it a lack of thought. It is wisdom wrapped in stillness, assurance cloaked in calm. She does not waste her words, nor does she use them to seek attention. When she does speak, it is with purpose, and her voice carries the weight of understanding. A man notices this. Oh, how he notices! He sees the depth behind her silence, the quiet strength that others overlook. For in a world that often values volume over virtue, where attention is fought for with noise and endless speech, the woman who is confident in silence stands apart. She does not beg to be noticed. She does not clamor for validation. Yet it is she who remains in his thoughts, she who lingers in his mind long after others have faded. He does not remember her for the number of words she spoke, but for the presence she carried in the spaces between them. And so, without ever demanding it, she earns his admiration. Without ever seeking it, she holds a place in his heart. For hers is a confidence that does not need to be proven, a strength that does not need to be shouted. She is the stillness in the storm, the depth in the quiet, the assurance that speaks even when no words are spoken. And that, more than anything, makes her unforgettable.